This morning I want to tell you about a story that I have read about what to give to our mothers. There was a man who stopped by a flower shop. He wanted to buy flowers to be wired to his mother, who is living 200 miles away. And he came in, he saw a little girl. She's sitting beside the sidewalk. She's weeping, she's crying. And he said to her, darling, what can I do for you to help? She said, yes, I wanted to buy a red rose for my mother, but I only have 75 cents. But a red rose, it costs $2. He said, no problem at all. I'll come in with me. I'll buy you a red rose. They went in. He bought a red rose for the young girl, and then he ordered a flower to be wired to his mother, who was living quite far away. And he offered this little girl, can I take you home? She said, yes, you can take me to my mother. She directed her to a cemetery. There, she laid a red rose on a freshly dug grave. The man then returned back to the shop. He canceled the wire ordered for his mother. He picked up a bouquet and he drove 200 miles to greet his mother on Mother's Day. Yes, it's nothing the same as just picking up the phone, just sending messages. But it's nothing the same as you see your mother face to face. It is a feeling there that I will talk about it later in my message this morning. The passage that was read for us this morning is talking about that last minute of Christ on earth. And what a remarkable story, because you can picture the scene, the setting for that moment. There were 3 heavy laden crosses on Calvary's hill. And Jesus, the Son of God, he is hanging on the central cross. And you see the people, the mob, they were giving mocking remarks. And there were soldiers, they were gamble, vying to have a share of his undergarment. The religious leaders, they were rejoiced. But at the foot of the cross, there were 4 women standing nearby. The first woman was Mary, the wife of Clopas. Mary Magdalene, the second woman. We don't know much about this woman, but Jesus driven the evil spirit out of her. The third person was Salome. She was the mother of James and John, the son of Zebedee. And the fourth woman was Mary, the mother of Jesus. You can imagine the emotion that going through at this point in time at the foot of the cross. There's a mother looking up to his son, hanging up on the cross. But there was a fifth person in there who was standing next to Mary. It was the beloved disciple. It was John. You know, when Jesus looked down, he saw his mother, and you can imagine the incredible feeling and emotions. And you know that he's just about to draw his last breath. And he looked at his mother's eye. He saw that she is the one that he loves, the one who gave birth to him, the one who took care of her from very little, and the one who nurtured him. He saw pain, and he knows he's going to leave his mom in a male-dominated culture. A culture where women is subservient to men. And you see how emotional because he knows he's about to leave. But Mary, the mother, she was standing there, looking up at Jesus. And she looked up at his firstborn. He's hanging on the cross. He saw the pain, the wounds of the nails on the hands and feet. He saw, you can imagine, she saw the wounds from the crown of thorns and the blood dripping down through over his face, over his body. And he's gasping for every breath. And this bring me the idea, when Jesus was little, it was the culture of the Jews that he has to be taken to the temple to be blessed. At that time, Mary and Joseph, they took Jesus to the temple to be blessed, and there was a man of God. His name is Simeon, and he said to Mary, "Give me your son." And he said something to her and Joseph about Jesus. And he said, but the end of what he was saying, he said, "And a sword will pierce your own soul." Mary might not understand that phrase at the time when he took Jesus to the temple. But now, as she was kneeling at the foot of the cross, weeping and crying for his son, and now he must have remembered what Simeon was saying back then. He said, "A sword will pierce your own soul." And this morning, what I'm going to share with you this morning is when Jesus was looking at Mary and he said, "Mother, behold your son." Simultaneously, he looked at John and he said, "John, behold your mother. Take care of her, protect her." And you see, it is to us this morning, we can see that if Jesus himself, at the point where he draw his last breath and he knows he's going to leave her behind, he cares so much for his mother, he asked John to look after his mother. And this morning I wanted to share with you why we should honor our mother. If Jesus said, "Take care of my mother," it means it is a command for us. You are commanded to honor your mother. You know, we cannot be willfully wrong with our mothers and be right with God. We cannot be willfully wrong with our mother and have a right relationship with God. And there were other two scriptures that also point us to why we should honor our mother. When God gave the 10 Commandments to Moses, he gave us instruction to show that how we should feel and act towards our parents. He said, "Honor your father and mother, that you may live long in the land. And the Lord your God is giving you." This is the only commandment in the first 10 commandments that comes and include a built-in promise of blessing and come with a condition. You honor your mother and father, you live long in the land. And I'm pretty sure, children, if you mistreat your mother, you'll pay the consequences. The other scripture also that says that we must honor our mother and father commanded us. It was Ephesians 6, verse 1 to 2. "Children, listen to me. Obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. You must honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, and so that it may go well with you and you may enjoy long life on the earth. There you go. We are commanded to honor our mothers. There is no choice. Jesus said it. It's also in the Ten Commandments and Paul's teaching that we must. What you are going to give your mother on Mother's Day, honor your mother. And even in the darkest hour of his life, Jesus stopped long enough to do the right thing concerning his mother. God, Jesus, is dealing with eternal matters, but as a man, he's showing all of us today how important it is to take care and honor our mothers. And my first point, how to honor our mother, is love her unconditionally. Love her when he's young, love her when he's old. Love her when she has so much to give. And love her when she has nothing to give. Second point, hug her affectionately. You know, there was an article titled Power of Human Touch. To express love with a simple hug and say to your mother, I love you. Kiss her, hold her hands, cuddle her. All those physically emotion that you express. They say they can lower blood pressure. It can cure heart disease. Just a simple hug, just hold someone's hand, it brings comfort and peace. And also the verbal affirmation to say that I love you, Mom. You have to say it with your lips. Your children needs to hear it. Your husband, your wife, and whoever, they needs to listen it coming out of your lips, I love you. I know it's hard for men to say it. They are not men enough to say I love you every day. But you have to say it so that your children listen to what you are saying. Because women, they need verbal affirmation. If you want to honor your mother, you've got to understand her sympathetically. You know, mother, they wear many hats. Now they cook, they clean, they judge, they make peace, they referee, they are sounding boards, they are accountants. And we need to appreciate what they are doing, what they have been doing in our life. Every day. We need to accommodate in our life, in our heart, sympathetically, what mother does in our life. The fourth point I want to share with you why it's important to honor our mothers is to listen to her attentively. You know, mothers, they have undivided attention. Every little details of what you need as a children. She has so much attention to what you are saying. And just imagine if you are at home and there's someone is bleeding to death. Don't tell your dad, because he will just push it away. Because if there's the football is on, just put the bandage on and we will do care of him. So mothers, they don't. Every little things that happen, they attend to it immediately. You got to help your mom cheerfully. There's another way you honor your mother. They are the greatest helper in the world. They pick up things in a bathroom where no one can come near. They are amazing. They are the remarkable commitment by mothers. They do things without pay. Doesn't matter what. But please, don't do things for your mother in return because you wanted to do her a favor. You may like to give her some money. You might like to help her financially, but remember, they took care of you all your life. And this is how we honor your mother. Number 6, to honor our mother, we got to remember her all the time gratefully. It's not just on Mother's Day, not just on her birthday. Just a phone call. Just call her. How are you doing? Call her, say, Mom, maybe they are going into their golden years, and ask, Mom, what do you want to come with me to the shop? Let's say, Mom, there's a football game. Do you want to come with us to watch our boys playing football? Or just a phone call to reach out to your mom. Because those little phone calls, she feels she's appreciated, she feels she's important, and she feels that someone loves her. That is so important. If you want to honor your mother, those little things is a simple phone call to let her know that you still care. Because she gave you the best year of her life. And that's the way you have to you honor your mother. Those phone calls, those invitations, those friendly gestures. Give her the thoughts that how well she taught you, how well she trained you, how well she loved you since you were born. And bring me to my last point. If you want to honor your mother, you got to remind her how much she is needed. Constantly. Not just once. Constantly remind her how much she is needed. You know, sometimes I'm talking about there are mothers who have been in their golden years now, and maybe the husband is not around anymore. But she had some thinking and feeling that she is no longer needed. But you see, the devil, they whispers. No, they whispers. They say, you are not necessary. Your life is over. Nobody has time for you. But that's all lies. You have to constantly remind your mother how much they are needed, because they can pray. Mother's prayer, that's one that we will be missing out on when she is gone from this life. But the best gift you can ever give your mother, not only on Mother's Day, but is to give your life to Jesus Christ. And I want to end with this story. It is a true story. I heard this story, Pastor Franklin, he was telling this story, and I love this story. It really touched me in my heart. It's a true story, but it's a very strange story. But they say it's been well documented in history, that it really happened. It was back in 1820, there was a man, his name was Peter Ridgely. He was on a ship, travels from England to Australia. But along the way, something happened and the ship started to sink. And when the ship went down, everyone perished except Peter. He was floating. He was floating on the ocean, and the second ship come along. They saw something in the water. They fish him up. And again, something happened. That ship went down. Again. Peter was on the water, and the third ship came along. And the third ship went down. The fourth ship come along. Again, the fifth ship sank, the sixth ship come along. And that ship called the city of Leeds. Leeds is named after an ancient city in England. And they fished him up off the waters. They gave her some food, gave her some clothes. And Peter shared with them the story, unbelievable story. 5 times the ship go down, and he was still saved. As they were coming close to Australia, the captain of the ship asked Peter richly if he could help them. Peter said, "You saved my life, I can do anything for you." They said, "There is a woman, she is a passenger on board. She came with us from England. She is traveling to Sydney, to Australia. But she is much loved by everyone on board. And she knows each and everyone on board. Except you, because you are just coming on the ship. But she is old, she is frail, but she's dying. But all the time she's praying that, God, please give me one more chance to see my son. After 10 years, I haven't seen her. I want to see my son before he take me away." And that's what her prayer. Along the journey, he prayed and prayed, "God, please give me a chance to see my son before I die." And Peter said, "Okay, I'll do that for you." They took him down to her cabin. As he walked in, the old gray-haired lady, she was crying, and she was barely speaking. And she was continuously praying, "Lord, please, I wanted to see my son before you take me away." And as she turned her head to see Peter, and Peter was weeping, and he fell down on his knees, and he said, "Mom, I'm here." It was Sarah Richley, her mom, who he hasn't seen for 10 years. You know, 5 ships couldn't take him down. The storm couldn't claim his life. But you will never underestimate the prayer of a mother. That's what saved him. And I hope this morning, brothers and sisters, that we value our parents, we value our mothers to a very high standard. You need to honor them with all your heart. Embrace them in everything that we do. While you live, while you are still living, while you still see her, while you still talk to her. It's so important in our life that we do the best that we can to embrace our mothers in our life. Maybe she can't work anymore. Maybe she can't give anymore. Or she doesn't serve anymore. Or do anything anymore. But she can pray. That's the one thing about our mothers. That's why we need to honor our mothers. Because we are commanded to love her, to honor her with all our heart. There is power in the prayer of a godly mother. And the greatest way to honor your mother is to give your life to Jesus.